Joined this week, as we are each and every week on Rangers Shoot Around, with men's basketball coach Andrew Brown, who just got off of a nice win over Fort Hays State this weekend.
Yes. That first win of the year is always a big win for your team.
Well, and you guys had a couple of games that I know you felt like while you were in the game, you just weren't quite able to finish it off at the end, and you felt like there was more out there. And so, of course, Saturday you were able to get that.
Yeah, you don't generally go into a place like Fort Hays saying, okay, hey, this is where we go get our first win. But we just felt like we kept progressing from our scrimmages, and then we felt like we really took a step back from our exhibition game because we were missing three of our most important players in terms of just athleticism and defense and handling the ball. So we really felt like we took a step back because we were missing those guys for some time. So when we went to Rogers State, we felt ready, but we also I felt like we weren't there defensively. I was disappointed that we didn't make more strides than we did when we went to Northeastern, but I really felt like you saw more of what I expect us to look like at Fort Hays State in terms of how we pressure the ball, how we're getting out and creating turnovers off our defense. We created more steals than we did in the first two games combined, and we created more turnovers than we did in the first two games combined, theoretically. So we felt like if we could just get that kind of a performance, effort, intensity, and just will, we still feel like we have a lot of upside offensively. We got some young guys that are still feeling their way through, but our veterans are just doing a really good job of getting us through and then finding ways to get us a chance to win when it comes down to it.
I think you hit the nail on the head as far as forcing turnovers, getting those big defensive stops, because the first two games, offensively, things seemed to be fine. You were out rebounding opposing teams. You were getting established inside offensively. It was just that X factor, and Saturday you were able to turn it up a notch.
Absolutely, we were, and against a team that we felt like would probably be the hardest team to do that to of the ones we played because of their ability to score inside. Rogers State has the guards Fort Hays does, and probably even a little more athletic than Fort Hays on the perimeter, but they don't quite have the inside scoring that Fort Hays has. So we felt like we were going to have to help inside, but we were still going to have to pressure outside. So we knew it was going to be a challenge. We knew going in we were going to have to play well. It didn't take 5 minutes of our guys watching film to realize this is going to be a challenge. But just like in our first few games, we felt like at the end of the day that we could have done some things to help change the outcome of those games. We played two teams that played really well also. I mean, give Northeastern and Rogers State more credit than taking credit from us. They shot well. They really made us guard. As a coach, you can nitpick and do all the things you want. Those two teams answered the bell and played well to beat us. So we get another crack at both of them. We get another crack at all the teams that we've played so far except for Fort Hays State. So we feel good about where we're at. We feel good about where we're heading. But the message right after the game was, we didn't win a Super Bowl here. We were excited to win, but you could tell our guys, like, okay, now that's what we're supposed to look like. Whether we won or lost, Northwestern basketball looked like what it was supposed to look like Saturday in terms of the energy, the intensity, and then the all-out ball pressure you get consistently for a game. So I was happy, obviously, that we got the win, but I was happy that we looked what we were supposed to look like.
I'm knocking on wood as I say this, but another one of those X factors coming into the year, you've gotten great moments from your seniors, especially Jonathan Freemeyer, but the biggest key was going to be, can we consistently get big games out of Jonathan Freemeyer? And the first three games, at least, he showed up in a big way.
I think when you're a senior, things are just a little different. And when these seniors came back, you could tell they were different. They didn't just look different, but they were just different. There wasn't the same kind of, I don't want to say playing around because they've always taken this seriously, but there was a little more urgency to getting others to work hard. Not just them working hard. It was more like, I'm not going out the way last year's seniors went out. I'm not going out on a negative turn. And I think they learned from last year, you can be talented and still get beat. Because we were talented. Sure. We had a really good team. We had really good teammates. We had guys that cared about each other. We just had some things missing that kept us from winning games. So when you eat that piece of pie and it doesn't taste very good, you tend to get a little more focused on, okay, you know, what needs to be done is more than just trying hard and working hard. We got to be focused on little things. And I think this team has taken that to heart. And by no means have we been perfect, but we've taken care of that stuff enough to where we feel like we're making strides every day.
You kind of alluded to this. I don't know if you would call it the revenge tour, but that's what I'm going to call it. Because this week, you know, it starts with USAO, a team that you lost to in exhibition play. It was a real game for them, not for Northwestern. And then again, Northeastern this weekend. A chance, I guess, a litmus test, and a chance to see how far you've come even in just a couple of short weeks.
It is, and the way they beat us, I don't know if anybody would be real sure that you'd want to play them again. But we're excited to get the opportunity to play better than we did on November 1st. And we had some extenuating circumstances, but I feel like if we take a group somewhere, we should play better than we did in that game, regardless of who was there, who wasn't there. And let's not get lost in the fact we missed some guys. USAO is awfully good. Mm-hmm. And they've really, to me, when you watch them on film, they don't run different stuff. They don't do much different. But that team really guards, I think, even better than the teams they've had the last couple of years. Defensively, they create more off of their turnovers and defense. We're going to have to do an outstanding job of taking care of the basketball. We're going to have to be opportunistic in going and getting some steals ourselves. But only that, we got to make them guard us. When we went to Chickasha, we shot some bad shots, and we were rattled with people playing out of position and kind of trying to play roles that they weren't suited for. So, you know, being healthy doesn't guarantee a win, but being healthy, I think, guarantees that we're going to look better and play better.
Look forward to seeing you continue to look better and play better tomorrow night, Tuesday night, depending on when you're watching, as the Rangers host USAO, and then again this coming Saturday against Northeastern State. See you next week on Rangers Shoot Around.
Can I add one thing?
Yes, you may.
5 o'clock, Tuesday night, Ranger Fieldhouse, Percival Fieldhouse. I know students are going to be gone. We need as good of a crowd as we can get. These two games are big for us to build some momentum going into conference play next Thursday. So all the support we can get, we'd love to have everybody there.
All right, Coach, thank you. See you next week.
Hey, thank you.
All right.